Face up tight, feel the ground shake. Every step's a dollar I make. Left foot, right foot, it's a game we play. Health and wealth in a single sway.
Step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefined. Yeah, get healthy, get wealthy,
redefined. What's my currency? No bank in sight. Sunrise to sunset, I own the night. Every stretch, every twist has a price. This grind pays twice, it's paradise. No excuses, no delay. Every motion makes my pay.
yeah, hey, step by step, watch me climb.
Every move I'm cashing time.
Run, walk, jump,
It's all mine, get healthy, get wealthy.
yeah, hey, step by step,
watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time.
Run, walk, jump,
It's all mine, get healthy, get wealthy. Redefined.
stumble, fall, I'm still in the race. Each bruise another badge I embrace. Momentum builds, can't erase the sound of coins in every pace. Every pace, every pace. Yeah, from my
Get healthy, get wealthy, redefined.
Good evening, everyone. You know what, y'all? That got me hyped. I like that song. It almost gets me as hyped as looking at the MoveQuest charts right now. So we're gonna give everybody about 2 more minutes to come in, but we're gonna rewind that and hear it again.
Face up tight, feel the ground shake. Every step's a dollar I make. Left foot, right foot, it's a game we play. Health and wealth in a single sway.
step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefined. Yeah, get healthy, get wealthy.
redefined. What's my currency? No bank in sight. Sunrise to sunset, I own the night. Every stretch, every twist has a price. This grind pays twice, it's paradise. No excuses, no delay. Every motion makes my
Yeah,
payday.
hey, step by step,
Watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time.
run, walk, jump.
It's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy.
Yeah,
Redefine.
hey, step by
step. Watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump. It's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy. Redefine.
stumble, fall, I'm still in the race. Each bruise another badge I embrace. Momentum builds, can't erase the sound of corners in every pace. Every pace, every pace. Yeah, from my
Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. Redefine.
All right, all right. Once again, we want to welcome everybody to our Tuesday night weekly call where we get the opportunity to hear what's going on behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, side the scenes of MoveQuest. Hope everybody's had a wonderful week. I know since last week's call at this same time, we received some information from Miss Lynette on kind of a nip here and a tuck there that was being done to the ecosystem. And we are definitely experiencing the benefits of that at this time. So once again, I want to thank all of you for being here with us this evening. Let me see if get my panelists over here with me. And let's see here if they can see it all. But as always, the information that you're going to hear on these calls, none of it's ever meant to be investment advice or anything of that nature. It's just information to help everybody make an informed decision as to what they would like to do and what's available for them here in the crypto space, something that they may want to, or that you may want to add to your crypto portfolio or add to what you already have. So once again, we welcome you to tonight's call. And as always, we have Mr. Hayden in the house with us. And Miss Lynette is coming on here shortly and is going to help share more information about where we are and what's going on or what have you. But Mr. Hayden, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I am doing fantastic. How you doing tonight, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yo, it's been a pretty nostalgic week, huh? Lots of excitement going on in the charts.
Absolutely.
I know you've been paying attention to the charts, and I also know that that you probably see the nostalgia in all of this as well. I'm pretty sure, Herschel, that you remember watching the token climb last year around this time. From the high 60s going to the high 70s, going into the high 80s and 90s. That feeling is like we're feeling that all again, even though it's a little bit lower in the number, but it's the same type of feeling.
Absolutely. And for me, Hayden, it's not even the number in and of itself. It's what has happened with the numbers with a small group of people that we have in our ecosystem. And that really,
100%.
as more people, and what we're witnessing is more people re-engaging. That's what we're seeing. And that's where the momentum will come. And if we as a community continue to, feed off of that and share what's going on over here, along with the tweaks and, things that, the dev team have implemented, the future could be extremely bright with this project. And I believe it will be. We just have to continue doing the things that we're doing and, watch it unfold.
No, you're absolutely right. It's pretty exciting stuff. And I say exciting, but it's not surprising. The A players and the champions know exactly what this project is made of and the heights that this token is capable of achieving. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, Anyways, I just want to say good evening to everybody. It's Tuesday night and you are locked into the MoveQuest Community Connection event. As always, big shout outs to the #1 decentralized community in the world, the MoveQuest Nation. Big congratulations to the Diamond Hands up in here tonight. As Mr. Herschel Crow said, this is Hayden Andre, your friendly neighborhood digital asset investor. And like many of you, I am energized, supercharged, and extremely excited about the success of this platform. Just a quick reminder before we hear from the technological rock star of this industry, Miss Lynette Artin. As I always say, the reminder benefits the entrepreneur. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Wayne Gretzky, Roger Federer, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. There are two very important things that all of these athletes, all of these A players, all of these champions have in common. They are the absolute best and extremely successful in the sport that they are known for. And the second thing is they are extremely coachable. You see, even the best of athletes have areas of their game that they are blind to. And a good coach, they can see those areas and increase the awareness regarding them to the player, and then offer special direction that can help the player take his or her game to the next level. Now, I, for one, am super grateful for the coaching that Lynette shares generously week after week here on these calls on these Tuesday nights. And sometimes she shows up on a Saturday afternoon. Hint, hint. Now, those of you who are following her lead and those of you who choose to follow her lead from this point moving forward, get ready to experience a level of success that only can be described as life-changing, or as I like to say, chain breaking. And the reason why I call it chain breaking is because saying it that way refers to the type of liberation that you can feel when you improve your health and when you experience positive physical transformation. And of course, it refers to powerful liberation that comes when you increase your financial income exponentially. Let's all make an effort to be coachable when it comes to working together as a team-like community. Victory is reserved for those who can put the ego aside and simply be coachable. Stay focused, stay rich, max out, level up. Herschel Crow, back over to you.
Thank you for that once again, Mr. Hayden. Definitely some words to take heed to. And, I'm not going to hold everybody up because I know there's a lot of excitement. I've had a lot of phone calls and, people getting re-engaged and engaging more than they were, and all of those things. So I see momentum starting to take place and just want to hear, any new items or feedback that Miss Lynette has in reference to, what's going on, where we're going, and so forth. So without further ado, Miss Lynette Artin, are you with us this evening, ma'am?
Had to get to my unmute. Had to come back to Zoom.
Understand.
So how's
How
everybody
you
doing today?
Doing
I'm
wonderful.
doing good. Head swimming a little bit because there's so much going on. Right before a Zoom, of course, I've been in Zooms and meetings. And it's like, okay, I gotta settle down for 10 minutes so I can get back to this. So I don't know about you guys, but are you loving the new algorithm? It's amazing. And now
Absolutely.
you get to see the ecosystem
Oh, yeah.
actually do what it's supposed to be doing. So I absolutely love it. It's going to go into a slumber mode when the selling pressure is higher than the demand. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to sleep. And that's what it's been doing. So it's got quite a bit of, it's got a lot of banked MoveQuest and it's got banked USDT. And so now that the ecosystem controls the supply and demand, yeah, you're going to see sellers, but you're not going to see a bloodbath on the exchange like what you have, because now the ecosystem says, okay, there's this many, engaged within the ecosystem. So this is what is a balanced supply that can be mined. As the community grows then that will increase. And what's nice about this, I'm going to share my screen real quick just so you guys can see. While other participants are sharing. Is somebody else sharing? Maybe it's you, Herschel, with the video. There we go. Let me do this. Okay. So just to explain, let me bring my spreadsheet up here. Everybody can see this? Am I sharing? I'll come back over here. I can't hear you, Herschel, but
There we go.
oh, you're
Let
muted.
me see
You can see my screen?
Not yet. There we go.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. So I'll bring it down here further. So starting October 14th, which was last Tuesday, with the old distribution, it was 3,000, but I'm going to stick with the 2,500 because the 3,000 was only for like a month, at least in these calculations, till I have time to. I don't have them backdated like from prior to October 14th because that's up here in the spreadsheet. So from August 1st, when we first started mining, to June 30th, it was 2,500 a day. And then from July 1st to October 2nd, 93 days actually, it was 3,000 that went out. But then on October 3rd to October 13th, we went to 2,000. So I'm just going to use the basic figure that we did for the first year, which is the 2,500, just to give you guys an idea of where we're at. So on the 14th, 2248 submissions. That means 562 MoveQuests were mined. If the old distribution was in effect, it would have been 1,938 more MoveQuests that would have went into circulation. And this is where that oversaturation comes in. So if people don't like the market value, then they'll stop submitting. I don't know if people understand exactly what the submissions actually do. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to the exchange so that you guys can see. Let me go to this wallet. This is the ecosystems wallet. I want to see. Hold on here. Because this is important to understand why your submissions, whoops, wrong thing, why your submissions are important. Oh, goodness. Sorry. I got to find the wallet. Okay, right here. Okay. So this will give you guys an idea of what the ecosystem does. We'll come down here and you'll see when you add. When you're doing the submissions, that submission fee, that's all pooled. And it comes in and it can buy MoveQuest. So it makes a buy on the exchange. And then here you'll see once it's made a buy, it will make an injection, which is an add. So it's $45 or $45, 4,500 USDT that was used to purchase the 805 MoveQuest. Then it comes back up and it injected $4,500 of USDT, $4,500 of MQT. That 795 MQT has an equal value of the USDT that was added. So these are two transactions, but it was a total, this is 9,000, 10,000, $13,500. So even if the system is buying, you got to remember that it's also injecting, and we've already got that banked MoveQuest. So the submission actually has a really big impact on the liquidity pool because it buys MoveQuest, it pairs that MoveQuest, it adds back in that liquidity. Where if you just go to the exchange and you buy the MoveQuest, you might get a little bit more, but if you're contributing it through the ecosystem, it's like 1.5 times more. You actually get more value. Where $30,000 can actually be 45,000 that it ends up adding into the liquidity because it buys and then it pairs as well. And you can see here, I mean, the ecosystem was sleeping. Now, when you see a removal, let me tell you why there's a removal. It uses what its existing liquidity is to correct the market value. So if there's selling going on, we don't have to go back that many days. Let's come back just to the last 4. Let's see. Five days. I guess that's when it would have actually started. So when it does a removal, it'll buy MoveQuest. Okay, that means if there was selling going on, and if it's got enough liquidity where it can back it, it'll do a short removal. It'll use a portion of that USDT to buy MoveQuest. Okay, that corrects the market value. So you'll see here where it does a removal. It took out 6,096 USDT. It took out 1,396 MoveQuest, which is equal to that $6,000. So it's a total of $12,200, somewhere in there. Then it buys $3,000 worth of MoveQuest with a portion of this. Then it goes and it adds back 3,100 in USDT and 708 MoveQuest, which is $3,154 worth of MoveQuest. So when it removes that 6,000, you've got a $3,000 buy, and then you've got a $6,200 injection. So it removes the over amount of MoveQuest in the pool, but it adds back the same amount of liquidity. So I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm showing you here. And for example, okay, this was banked liquidity. There wasn't any, well, it did do a short removal. So it did a $9,200 removal. So a total of almost $19,000. And I'll explain to you why it does that. When you drive the market value up, it takes less MoveQuest to pair to the USDT. So it saves MoveQuest without having to put it into circulation by not having to use as much MoveQuest at the lower market value. So when it removed 19,000, you can see here it bought $7,500 worth. And then it injected almost $14,000 worth of liquidity, 6,700 in USDT plus $6,700 worth of MoveQuest. Okay, then it come up and it bought $5,000 more of MoveQuest, and it added $10,000 here. Then it bought 5,000 and it added $10,000 here in liquidity. Then it bought 5,000 here and it added another $10,000. Then it bought 10,000 and it added 20,000. Here it bought 4,500 and it added 9,000. Here it bought 5,000 and it added 10. Here it bought 1,000 and there must have been some selling going on. Who knows why that triggered. Here it only bought $250 worth. So it's not always high amount. Sometimes it's just a little correction that it needed to make for whatever reason in the algorithm. Here it's $1,000 buy. Here it's 1,250, 2,000. Then it adds 6,000 because when it adds 3,000 USDT, it has to add $3,000 worth of MoveQuest. 3,000 it bought, 7,500. Then here it does another correction. Okay, there was some. There was a $20,000 sale last night, and there was a $21,000 sale. Now, if you go look at the decks, they actually had spent 40,000 and something dollars to buy that MoveQuest, and then they sold $41,000 worth. So they ended up walking away with about a $1,700 profit. That's not a big deal. I mean, it's decent, but it's not like they walked away with $42,000 worth of the USDT pool money. They actually had to buy that MoveQuest with that 40,000-ish dollars, and then they sold it for 41,000 and some odd dollars. So a $1,700 profit. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, but it's not like it affected the pool the way a lot of people thought. You know, they were like, "Oh my God!" But the ecosystem was able to correct it with no issue. So it does a little minor correction here, and then it buys, and then it adds, and then it bought, and then it adds, and it adds. So it buys it to bring the market value up so that when it pairs the MoveQuest, it doesn't take as much. So you can see here, for example, let me go down to show you this a little bit better. Okay, here you see it buys $5,000 worth of MoveQuest. That's 869 MoveQuest. Now, when it pairs it, that 5,000 USDT only had to be paired to 858 MoveQuest. Now, that 11 MoveQuest difference in there, it may not seem like a big deal today, but when MoveQuest is $100,000, that 11 MoveQuest is a real big deal. So the ecosystem buys it as low as possible, brings the market value back up before it does an injection so that it can store as much MoveQuest as possible without having to put too much into the pool. So hopefully that explains why you see those removals when they come out, because it's not actually taking anything out of the pool. It's just a short correction so that it can go in and do its buys and do its liquidity injection. So when you see those, you could follow, when it's removed. Here you've got 22,000. Okay, this is probably when it had that 20,000 and the $21,000 sell off, and it was several hours later. I'll have to go look. But what it did was wait to see what the buy sell behavior would be. Are people going to freak out and unload? So it'll kind of hold off before it decides to go back in and correct it right away, because it wants to see what's going to take place. And it didn't create any big deal. Actually, it really didn't even affect the pool at all. But it did remove the 22,000, and then it went in and it bought. See, it bought those MoveQuest back. Now, it does this on purpose, because this way the person who just made that trade, they can't do it again, right? Because it's going to drive the market value back up. So now if they come back in and do it, they're going to drive the market value up higher. So they're actually going to end up losing money on that future trade. So it goes even deeper beyond just the simple market correction, but it also wants to bring it above, so that when that person, if they think, oh, I just made $1,700, I'll just come back in and buy $42,000 more, it's going to drive the market value up higher, where they wouldn't get as much of the MoveQuest. And when they sell it, it would drop it back down. They wouldn't make the same profit margin. So the algorithm and the ecosystem knows how to calculate and predict that. So it removed the 22,000, which means it took out that extra MoveQuest that was sold, that 2,900, but it bought it back, driving the market back up a bit. Then it did another removal of 22,000. So it was correcting what those two sell-offs were. And then it come in and it buys the $22,000 in the MoveQuest. So in total, the system actually, I think it was, oh, we can count them up here. You got 1,300. So it took out 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, almost 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It took out about 12,000 MoveQuest just in these few transactions. And here again, it removed it and it bought. Now, it didn't add anything in. It just did the buys to correct. And then it came up here and it added in an additional $20,000. So it removed 22,000, but it bought it back in. It bought it back, removing that MoveQuest. It removed 22,000. It bought it back in. And then the system, here it did the 17,000 and it bought 30, 15, about 20,000. So even though it removed 17, 15, 30, 4,000, here's your 20, and then it added in 20 more. So it was 34,000 it removed, but it was 40,000 that it in overall that it actually added back in. So it went above and beyond what it removed by adding an additional 6,000. I know it gets confusing to follow all this stuff, but I'm just trying to explain to you guys that when the ecosystem can be active, that means that the selling pressure isn't high. Okay, when you look at this over here, let me come back and explain this too. This here, when it was down in the $2-3 range, if you don't have people that are actively submitting where it can stabilize the market value more than just for the sellers, it will go into a slumber. And it will wait until the perfect market conditions are here to be able to drive the market value back up. But with all the selling pressure and then people not liking the market value, and they think they don't understand what that ecosystem is doing. They don't think that by submitting it has any value to them, but it really, really does. It has a massive impact on what is happening with the liquidity. Well, now that that selling pressure has been removed, and now the ecosystem handles the buying and selling scarcity by the buying, sorry, supply and demand, buying sell ratio to the scarcity of what is actually in circulation. The ecosystem is like wide awake. It's like a beast right now. I love watching it. It's so much fun. This is what makes MoveQuest fun, is to be able to watch and see what the dynamics are of this ecosystem. It is so much fun to watch it. It is so boring when you got to sit here and watch these people overselling. You're like, oh my God, that I can't just go in and say, okay, we're going to override the ecosystem and do whatever we, because then I would screw up the whole algorithm. It would screw up the whole ecosystem. But when we switched over to now based on submissions, what can go into circulation, it's removed the selling pressure. All these extra MoveQuests that get sold. So in just the last, what, 5 days, 9,603 MoveQuests that would have went into circulation did not go into circulation. And this is what's being sold. But when this is what's going into circulation, 2,897, that's not enough to do any overselling. Even if they were all sold, it wouldn't affect and make those, it wouldn't make the ecosystem go into slumber mode. And so now the ecosystem can constantly be working, which means that it's going to always continue to move up in market value. That doesn't mean that you're not going to see your sellers, because if we come back over here and I get rid of this so we can see the market, you see here, that's where that big drop was right there when that $42,000 was sold. But the ecosystem come right back up. It didn't take it all the way back up to the $11. And I'll tell you why. Because it didn't see where it could stabilize at that market. If it hit that level again, it would probably have drove a few more sellers in, right? So what it wants to do is it wants to continue to stabilize it between that $10 and $11 mark until it sees that, okay, it's stable, and the next seller won't drop it back down here into that $7 or $8 range. So there's so much that goes into the algorithm, and there's so much that is calculated based on what the community is doing. But honestly, we should not see days like this again, because that selling pressure has been removed. And you can see here that as the total submissions increase, so does the total MoveQuest that can be mined. So on day one, it started out 562. 6 days later, it's at 613.75 MoveQuest. So as the community re-engages, you'll see this MoveQuest go back up. Now, what's important to realize is that that 9,603 MoveQuest that wasn't mined, let's say we get up, we've got 25,000 people who are mining. Okay, this is banked MoveQuest that can be mined. And so now it can continue to increase, meaning that even as the community is increasing, instead of the amount of MoveQuest that you're mining decreasing, now with this algorithm, it can continue to increase as long as there's this extra MoveQuest that's being banked from this amount here. So where you have a max amount of 5,000 in the first 4 years, because the other amounts are in the hatcheries, there could be days based on this. I mean, that's 2,000, almost 2,000 MoveQuests that didn't go out. 1,938, on the first day. 2 days cumulative, that's the 1938 plus whatever the difference is here. That can all be mined now as the ecosystem calls for it. So when you start seeing, 10,000, let me just put this in here. Let's say we have 10,000 you've got 2,500 MoveQuests that are going into circulation. Okay, now you've got 20,000, you've got 5,000. But see, we're still banking all this MoveQuest every single day. And so it could even go up as high as 6,000 or 7,000 a day. So if you've got 30,000 people that are submitting, now you're at 7,500. And it will allow it to let this extra MoveQuest that's not being mined right now move into these higher submission levels. Now, once there is no, overflow of MoveQuest from the mining pool, then you'll see it start to decrease, which is a good thing, because then it means that, any of this extra MoveQuest is no longer available that didn't get mined in the early days. And so now it'll just settle back into what it can do. And if the max is 5,000 a day, then it would be 30,000 capped at 5,000. It would just say 5,000. And then you start to see the market value go up even more, because it's going to drive it up even higher, because now you've reached its max amount that can be mined in a day. But you don't lose these as miners in the community. So they don't get absorbed by the ecosystem. They don't go just towards liquidity. They stay there. That is the mining pool. Let me get rid of these so I don't forget what I was doing here, so I can keep track of this daily. Give you an idea of what I mean. Right now, the mining pool has got up until next August 1st, okay? On August 1st of next year, the vault will deposit the next year's MoveQuest into the mining pool smart contract, and then it will calculate from there. So right now, this mining pool's got 677,255 MoveQuests that are going to be mined between now and August 1st. However, if you look over here, let's say the community stays where it's at, right? Let's just say we don't grow at all. We just have our small little community of people, and this is the way it works, right? It would take 3 years, 1,129 days to mine what would have been mined in 1 year. So you can see how this is going to massively make a big difference in the market value, because before we took the supply and demand out of the community hands and put it into the ecosystem's hands, this is what would have went out between now and August 1st of next year. If the community stays at the same size that it is right now, it would take 3 years for that to be mined. So that's the difference. Now, if the community is growing and all this goes out in the first year, that's a great thing, because the market value is going up. You got a very healthy, growing community, so it's a positive either way you look at it. You lose. Listen to my mouth. I can't even talk tonight. We've lost that selling pressure. That's a great thing. It just turned this up like it was supposed to be, like it was when we first got started. And people were excited, and there wasn't much MoveQuest in circulation, because we'd only been mining for, I think it took us 65 days or something like that. I'll have to look back in the history, but to get to the $110 mark. And then it took, I don't know, another 3 to 4 or 5 months to drop back down into the $40, $50 range. And then it was another 60 days or so, and we were down into the 30s and into the 20s, but you just had more and more and more and more MoveQuest. The other thing this does too is your phone shakers, people that, can still figure out a way to just manually enter their activity data into the Androids with multiple accounts. It's not really worth it to them. At this stage in the game, to be using those multiple accounts, because they're going to look at this and say, well, I don't want to just mine 0.3 MoveQuest. They love being able to mine those extra MoveQuests, and those are, and go and sell them. Now, if you're doing it the right way and you got the right mindset and you understand that 0.3 MoveQuest is really worth it, because you understand how the ecosystem works. Now you understand where the market value is going. That 0.33 MoveQuest is a whole lot of MoveQuest based on this new algorithm that removes that selling pressure. And I'm going to have those numbers and all those charts for you guys. I'm hopefully Waleed will have them up this weekend for you because I think it's really fun to show those numbers. We are not speculating a market value. We're projecting market values based on the ecosystem, the algorithms, supply and demand, and community behavior, growth or no growth. I go worst case scenarios to best case scenarios. I'm not telling you what the price will be. I'm telling you what the price could be under these conditions. So to make sure that you guys understand what I'm saying, because I've had a couple people say, "Oh, you've made promises of what it was going to be." No, what I've told you is if you do what I tell you to do, right? I'm not giving you financial advice, but if you use common sense and you don't oversell a token before there's a demand, I mean, that's common sense. I'm sorry. And that's just simple math, even in the fiat world. Okay. Um, you're going to if you're overselling before there's what do you think is going to happen? And don't blame that shit on me. I told you don't sell unless there is a demand for the token. Let that liquidity pool really build up so you can cash out hundreds of thousands of dollars, not affect the pool. I mean, you guys aren't in this to make $10 or $5 a day. You guys are in this to make a few hundred a day or 1,000 a day. And that is so easy to do with this project. This is a beast of a project. I don't care what the critics say. And the critics that have created projects that say that they don't get MoveQuest, well, no kidding. That's why you keep creating these shit show projects that crumble and fall apart and everybody loses their money because you don't get it. If you did get it, you would have built something solid. This is solid. This is a very, very, very strong project. It's well above its time in the crypto space. And yes, I'm arrogant about it because I put 4 years into this puppy and I know what it does. And I don't care what they say. I could care less. Actually, I like it when people challenge me because when I'm done, after they've tried to challenge me, they usually walk away with their tails tucked and now they're mining. And they're trying to figure out how they can do it too. And that's a good thing because all of these crappy projects that you lose your money in, for one thing, they've made people think that all crypto is a get rich quick scheme, and it's not. Crypto is not about getting rich quick. Yes, you might get lucky and you might fall onto a token and that shoots to the moon. I've done it. Others have done it. I know a few other people have done it better than I've done it. And that doesn't happen every day. And if you get into these meme coins or these projects that don't have a self-funding ecosystem, they're going to fail and you're probably going to lose your money. And the funny thing is, I don't know how many of you here on this call, you don't have to tell me because really it's none of my business, but I'll guarantee you there are people here on this call that have already, since they've been in MoveQuest, gone into 4 or 5 of those projects. You've already lost your money and you come back and we're still here. I know because I've heard people tell me, yeah, we figured you guys would be gone, but you're still here. I've been through 4 or 5 of these projects already. They're gone. And you guys are still here. Well, yeah, we'll be here forever because we did it right. None of those projects do it right. That's not what the crypto space is. And I love it when people try to figure out how to do this because if everybody did this, do you know how many projects we could be in that wouldn't fail because they were done the right way? Crypto is a very powerful space for those who actually get it and understand it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about all that. I can go on and on about that all night long. Now, another thing that you guys have to understand, we've got a really strong community for the small number of people that we have. Okay. Um, in total, we've had 2 million tokens in circulation. The community itself, now this is ecosystem, um, the max supply, what is circulating. This means 677,000 of them are the mining pool. Okay. That's like 1.4 million. So this is everything that's over here in these contracts, plus the 200,000 for the liquidity raise and the 135,000 that went into the second, well, when we listed the token. So it's all of that. Now, out of that 2 million tokens, the actual vault, it's got more than this now. Let me go to the vault contract. Let's see. I'm just showing you guys this stuff because I think this stuff is important for you to understand where all this is. And you guys can actually go to these contracts. Let's go to Snow Trace. You guys can go to these contracts and you can check them out yourself every single day if you want to. I'm going to put in this is the liquidity MoveQuest. So this is what the ecosystem buys. And currently, it's got 373,064. Oh, you know what? I've got that up here. I'm still trying to get used to it right here. That's banked MoveQuest that the ecosystem has purchased. It's already, it's used some of it too to put it into liquidity, but that's MoveQuest that can never be sold. When it comes back in through the ecosystem, it has to be paired to USDT and added as liquidity before it can ever be sold. So if somebody sells it, it comes back in through the ecosystem and it goes back as liquidity. And so it has to be bought before it can be sold. So this is a really powerful piece of MoveQuest as well. Then you've got what's actually in the liquidity pool. But look at this. 608,466 MoveQuest are actually in the hatcheries, and this is what's circulating in wallets. That's 900,000 MoveQuest tokens that this community is holding. That's powerful. That means that over the last year, I mean, of course, you got a lot has been sold, but they get bought back. A lot has been sold, they get bought back as the community is growing and people engage. That's a lot of MoveQuest that's held by this community. So even with the overselling, what people were selling would have been just fine if the community had been growing. But when we announced the rebrand of MoveQuest, everybody was like, we told you guys it would take us 6 weeks. So everybody's like, yeah, we'll just wait till the rebrand is done. It'll be easier. The onboarding will be easier. I did not know that the dev team was going to completely rewrite the entire infrastructure or that it would take 10 months. And so everybody kind of just went into this lull. So our mining time for the year, I mean, I learned real quick that that's what they were doing. But had I known that, I would have never said it was going to be 6 weeks. I don't even know if Waleed, when he started getting into it, even knew that he was going to have to rewrite the whole infrastructure. But when he's seen how everything was going to work with all of the features and the ecosystem that we had, we really wanted to make sure that we didn't run into issues later. And so by rewriting these contracts, they really sync better with each other. They communicate better with each other. It's so strong. So I don't regret the fact that we took the time to do this, but it did cause, the community to kind of not share because it was difficult. And then you were waiting for that rebrand. But think about this. With a growing community, what was being sold would have not been a big deal because really there's not a whole lot that was sold. Yes, it was too much considering the fact that we haven't really grown into where we've got 25, 50,000, 100,000 people using this platform or project. But when we do, you're talking about MoveQuest being thousands of dollars. And you've got a stingy community. You've got a hoarding community of MoveQuest. That's a really good thing. I love it because I'm a crypto hoarder. So when I see there's 302,000, that's it. That's all that's in wallets right now. Whoops, sorry. That's all that would be. That's the only amount of MoveQuest that could be sold right now. That's it. 302,975. And we stay pretty consistent between 304,000. It's actually a bit lower right now. About 304 to about 310,000 MoveQuest. That's been the average for months, okay, that the community holds in their wallets. This is what you want to multiply by the market value to get your true market cap. Right now, when you go to these DEX exchanges and it shows you here, $219 million, that's based on all 21 million MoveQuest tokens. Now, once all of the contracts and CoinMarketCap gets this figure, I don't think CoinMarketCap has quite figured out everything yet based on all of the information that I've sent, because that's the only reason I can figure that it's not verified yet, because this is a very complex project and there's so many contracts that have to be taken into consideration, this number right here is what the true market cap is, because all of these are locked into smart contracts. They're not going to be sold. So it's the circulating supply that can be sold that dictates what that market cap is. So once all that gets done, you're going to see a market cap of $3 million. This is powerful when you think about it, because we've got almost $1 million sitting there. So it means that if all these tokens were sold, it only needs that 3 million for them to all sell at the basic $10 mark. That's a very solid pool. Let me see what else about this sheet. Oh, okay. So tier 1 is not a big demand. Tier 2 is not doesn't have a big demand. Tier 3, I mean, there's some in there. So what we'll be doing is we'll be minimizing tier 1, tier 2, and we'll be downsizing tier 3 to add room for tier 4. So those of you who see that we're getting close to the 385,000 mark, don't worry about it, because we will be expanding that, but we'll have to decrease tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 to do so, because only 1,500 MoveQuest a day can go out through the tier. So this is a good thing too. We knew tier 4 would be the highest in demand, but you want to leave options for people if they don't want to leave their tokens locked up for 210 days. I'm also going to show you a graph, not tonight, but I'll have all this ready. I did talk about it a little bit in one of the WhatsApp chats. For those of you that hold, I guesstimate based on what this project will do, that it could take 4 years for us to get to the size of the community, which would take MoveQuest to the $120,000 market value. If you were only mining 0.3 MoveQuest per day, and you were in the tier 4 golden hatchery, and you ran it for 6 rounds, that's roughly that 4-year time frame, that MoveQuest would be worth over $150 million. I know that sounds crazy, but if you understand MoveQuest, it's all math and numbers. That's all it is. And the ecosystem, supply and demand, it's all there. You can calculate it yourself, and you can do the same projections that I do based on growth, based on selling pressure, based on scarcity, based on all of these different features that we have, from the evolution to the mining dock. It's all right there in black and white. I'm not hyping anything up. I'm not giving you speculative market values. I'm giving you projections based on growth and engagement within the ecosystem. That's just all there is to it. I want to touch on the seller accounts real quick. I was going to go over the presentation, but it's getting kind of late, and my brain's just a little fried after this whole week of stuff going on. So we'll have to save it probably for next week, but I'll still get that doc out to you guys so you can understand it. Currently, we have, I think it was 23 or 26 managers. Okay. These are people that already have networks. They already have, people that they work with. Some of them are influencers that are getting ready to really go out and start sharing MoveQuest. As a manager, MoveQuest pays you 30%. You set up your own teams. Okay, MoveQuest only pays the direct commission. As a manager, you get everything. So let's say you don't want to share it, and you share it with 10 people, and share it with 10, and share it with 10, whatever. You get all of the commission. They don't get any of it, because this isn't a commission-based project. It is a rewards project. You're mining the crypto, you get rewarded like the Vanguard. So for people who share it, and they, once people open up 18 doc slots and they're mining with all miners, you get a free Vanguard. You'll get free boosts, things like that. So it rewards you with actual products within the ecosystem. But for those of you who do like selling and do want to share this project, you are working. We've got a couple who are working with projects. I'll bring them in under the manager's selling account. So as a manager, you only get that 30% if you produce. Okay. If you don't produce within X amount of days, you lose the 30%, you go down to 10%, and you're what's considered a seller. And that's fair. But a manager's got extra work. They have to work with their sales team. They have to be productive with them, helping them make sure that, everyone understands what MoveQuest is, how to get set up, started. Granted, you can use our customer support, all that stuff, but you do have more work when you're working with a team of people who are helping you build. You share a percentage of your commission with your sales team, and then they can share a percentage of theirs with their sales team. So if you're somebody who's got a team, you want to come in as a manager, start with the 30%, you would set up your sales team. And all you do is enter their seller address and you set their commission rate. So if you're getting 30%, you want to give them 10%, you just paste in their wallet, set their percentage, and then add them as this is really, it says sub seller, but it'll say seller here. Wally just needs to fix that title. You just add them. Everything again managed by the blockchain. Everything is done with smart contracts. Everything is done instantly in real time. So MoveQuest pays the manager a direct commission of 30%. That's it. From there, the manager decides what he's going to share or what she's going to share with their sales team. Now, if you have somebody on your team that can build a team of 10,000, they can come to a manager. They get the 30%, and now you get a 5% commission override on everything they do, indirect and direct. And your sellers, same for them. They can, if they're a seller and they've got a nice team, some of your influence, all they have to do is just, here's a tweet, and they all roll in. That person would get all of the commissions, whether they shared it or not. But they can share those commissions with the select amount of people, and there's no limit on the sellers that you can create. So again, you're in total control. It's your project. It's all managed by smart contracts. You determine who you're going to work with. You determine what you're going to share with them of your commission, and they can do the same. Now, it's negotiable too. So if you tell them, look, I'm going to give you 10%. If you've got 5 sellers on your team in the next 7 days, I'll bump you up to 12%. And if they have 5 in their first 7 days, I'll bump you up to 15. The goal is to build out a team of people where they can reach 10,000, whether they brought them in or not, so they can become a manager and get that 30% as well. That pays a lot. A team of 10,000 people pays $2.4 million. That's a lot of money that it pays. It also adds almost 13 million into the liquidity pool because it's already got the banked MoveQuest. So it's another 6.5 million paired to $6.5 million worth of MoveQuest. So for every 10,000 people that come in, that's 13 million that hits the liquidity pool. So it's a big deal. That's what I got tonight, Herschel.
Well, I like what you have. I like, I like what you have. No, this was some great information. Hearing it, then experiencing it. I'm willing to bet you a lot of people in the community listened more intently and received more of what you were saying about how them spreadsheets became a whole lot clearer or whatever when you
Oh
actually
yeah.
have the
I mean,
activity taking place to support it. So we definitely
yeah, just in the last, what, 5 days? I mean, the ecosystem's flushed in almost $450,000 of liquidity. I love it when people say, "Oh, I wonder what that's doing with the liquidity." Well, here you go. It was banked and it's now it's flushing into the ecosystem. I'd like to know why you're selling all your MoveQuest. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Because you get those snarky little people that like to say stupid stuff all the time. Think they know what's going on, and clearly they don't. I love those kind of people. They make my day so much fun. But now you guys can see, you guys did not come up with $400,000 of liquidity in 5 days. Okay, we got 2,100 people that were submitting 5 days ago. That's the bank liquidity that the ecosystem will not put in for the sellers. Can you imagine if the ecosystem was driving up the market value for the sellers? Hello.
Man,
Yeah. And there's a whole lot more where that came from. It banked a lot of liquidity, you guys. This was just the first 5 days. That's almost $500,000 in 5 days. That's a lot. Our liquidity pool almost doubled in 5 days. That's a big deal.
that it did. That it did. Well, okay. Well, I'm not sure. Let's do this just in case there's something in there that you want to give some insight to. I'd recommend just start at the bottom. That way, of the Q&A. That way we can just cover the ones that have already come in so far, and it's only a handful for a change.
Okay, how much USDT is on the sidelines, not reflected in liquidity on exchanges? Well, that's kind of stuff we don't tell because then people can kind of gauge what the ecosystem is doing. And honestly, I don't even know without going and looking, but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of liquidity sitting there. Are you able to stake our reserve? Nope, we cannot. I'll tell you why. Because that MoveQuest was never supposed to go into circulation anyway. I was just doing that because I'm a generous person. But if I was to inject the reserved MoveQuest that doesn't have enough liquidity to support it, this ecosystem would go bonkers and it would go back into a sleeping slumber. So I can't touch that stuff. You guys just have to hold out until the liquidity and the ecosystem can handle those reserve MoveQuest. And I can't, if I was to do that, which I would love to do it, but I cannot go against how this project is supposed to work. The minute I do that, it would mess everything up. So I can't even do that. Like the ecosystem would almost be like, what the hell? What the hell just happened here? You guys would hate me for that. I can't go in and make adjustments. I would have to have, Wally go in and rewrite contracts, rework an algorithm. It's just, it wouldn't, I can't do it. So you guys have to stop asking me about the reserve because it's not going to happen until the liquidity is there to be able to support it being in circulation. And think about it like this. If you're staking MoveQuest that's not supported by the ecosystem, that means that you're getting more MoveQuest on MoveQuest that's not supposed to be in circulation, which is going to throw the ecosystem into wacko land again. So I just can't do it. I guess I must have kicked myself out. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can now. I thought you was in deep thought.
No, I booted myself out somehow, which means I lost all the Q&A, so you'll have to read them. So on the B&B side, I am not ready to do the meeting on that yet. We have burned over 2 billion of the GFAM tokens. The max supply will be 21 million. Right now, our goal is to absorb as much of those and burn them down until it is at the 21 million, like the MoveQuest token. That's going to be a very strong token as well. The submission fees are high because that is a set rate of fee. Now, that's important right now because of all the correction that it's doing, but I am working on an algorithm that will do the same thing as the MoveQuest is doing. Okay. So as more people in the community are re-engaging, as the community grows, then the fees will come down. The more people submitting, the lower the fees. The less people submitting, the higher the fees because it has to balance itself out. There's a balance act that goes on here within the ecosystem. Now, what I've told people, if you don't like the submission fee, what you would spend on the submission fee, go buy your MoveQuest. So you still get the MoveQuest every day because the buys on the market, that's still beneficial too. But if you submit, then it's like 1.5 times the effect on the actual liquidity pool because it does a buy, it brings back that MoveQuest and pairs it to the USDT. So it has more value by submitting. But if, some people are like, oh, well, the market value isn't good enough for me. Okay, then whatever you would have spent on submitting, just go buy that because that also has a positive impact because it's letting the ecosystem see those buys. And that is a demand, which means that it can change its algorithm. And instead of it being 0.25, it could go up. So this algorithm, what's being mined, can change based on the behaviors within the entire ecosystem, the buying and selling behaviors, the submissions, all of this stuff plays into fact. Will there be a distribution of the LPTR tokens? Okay, so John, we will talk about Binance on Binance side. I want to focus on what Avalanche is. The LPTRs will not be coming out probably until all of the correction is done because you probably wouldn't get much if you look at what the liquidity pool is. Liquidity pool tokens are just that. You'd get all this GFAM back. Now, if you want the GFAM, yeah, we can release the LPTRs, but that's what most everybody would get back are in their LPT tokens are the GFAM. So when you do LPTs, there is this impermanent there's well okay, I got to do the Binance side off on a whole separate Zoom on its own because there's so much that we have to go over on the Binance side that it's too much when we're going over what's going on the Avalanche side. But just so you know, on the LPTRs, if we do release those, it's GFAM that most people are going to get back because it's not a loss, and that's why they call it impermanent loss because you're not sure what you're going to get back. Are you going to get back US or the BNB or the US? What was it? BUSD or GFAM? Well, go look at the pool. You're going to get a boatload of the GFAM back because that's what those LPTs would do. So that is something that we're trying to balance out, and we're updating everything on the Binance side so that everything reflects the same over here. But that's the holdup on that. How can you burn down to 21 million? Oh, that's really simple because as it comes back into the ecosystem, it gets burned. Comes back into the ecosystem. We're sending it back to the dead contract. So they're not considered in circulation anymore. So then it will actually reflect the max supply as a 21 million. So instead of going back into the ecosystem or going back into the liquidity pool, they're getting sent back as a dead token, which diminishes the max supply. So all of these tokens, when we do the readjustment and we adjust the pool and all this stuff, millions and millions and millions of those GFAM tokens will be burned until they're completely burned out and down to 21 million. That's how we do that. That's good. People that are holding those, that's a good thing for you. If you think about what we're saying, those of you that are holding on to your GFAM, that's going to be worth quite a bit to you. You'll also have the ability to convert them over to MoveQuest on the Binance side if you decide to do so. But the ratio will not be 1-to-1, just so you know. So you'll be able to do one or the other. Okay. BNB MoveQuest tokens will be 1-to-1 to AVAX MoveQuest. They're going to be whatever the MoveQuest market value is to what you paid for them. There's a conversion that'll take place. That's all handled by smart contract as well. So it'll know what you spent for them, what the market value is today. So if you had 100, you may end up with 10, but it would be the same value that you paid for them at that time.
Gotcha.
It's not a big seller to MoveQuest before we have a selling contract set up. Can we adjust that and get them under us? Okay, so big seller. If you know, yeah, you can. But if you know that you have somebody that you're going to bring in that's going to sell, you need to get a hold of, and I'll tell you in the next few days who the managers are. I'm still waiting on some of them to get me their information because I don't have all the names. I just have wallet addresses. You'll register with one of them unless you know that you're capable of managing your own team and you can get everything set up in the first 14 days. You can start off as a manager yourself at the 30% to bring in your teams of people. So I guess it depends on what level that you're going at. So influencers, networkers that can build quick and fast, know what they're doing, have teams already. If you want that manager account, the only thing is that you got to be ready to go, because if you don't achieve that certain number within 14 days, the contract will demote it down to 10%. So I would say to connect with Hayden, Herschel, any of the admins that you see, go into Zoom, customer support, just drop your name and your contact information, and then somebody on our core team will get with you. So we've got Corey, we've got Hayden, we've got Herschel, we have, how many other people do we have here? Oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm tired tonight, so it's hard for me to remember all the names, but Rosario, we've got Kiki, we've got Nick, we've got Jared, is it Gerald? Um, who else, you guys, would they connect with? Because you want to connect with one of the managers already. Um, go into Discord, let somebody know there. If you've got me on WhatsApp, you can message me. We're going to have the manager form and the seller form on site here in the next day or two. You'll be able to just put your information in, we'll get it, and then we'll get you set up either underneath the manager as a seller, or we'll set you up as a manager, but still with a manager so that you've got somebody to work with. Hopefully that makes sense. It's totally different than what you would see in an MLM, because you're in control of what you are going to do. You're basically building your team. You're getting the full commission, and then you decide how you're going to share it with your sales team, and then they can share with theirs whatever percentage you give them. So the negotiations are all set with you. We set you up. You get the full amount, and you disperse it from there. We don't control that, manage it, or nothing. We just give you what the base amount is, or not the base, but the max amount to start as a manager. If you just want to be a seller, you have a few people coming in, same thing. Get with one of the admins that you guys work with. They'll get you set up, or message me, or wait until that form comes out in the next couple of days on the website. Unless Herschel or Hayden, you guys have had another way, if you guys talked about any other ways to do this with people. Kiki, yeah. Yes, Elizabeth. So you know Kiki. So connect with Kiki because she's a manager.
I know
Yeah, also
originally
customer support is probably one of the best and most legit ways to reach out if you're really unsure. So get in touch with technical or customer support, put your name there, and then we'll get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we have it. Once again,
Yeah. So
go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we want to make sure that, so we don't want people to be pressured to share MoveQuest. That's not what we want. We want people to enjoy the app for the app. But those of you that really love the app and you want to make some really good money, the ecosystem, it pays you out instantly. It pays you out in real time. You don't have to wait for me or somebody else to, approve you to withdraw your money. It puts you in complete control. And it's a lot of money. I mean, 2.4 million for a team of 10,000 people is a lot of money. Plus a 5% override once you build that. So you're always making money all the way forever and ever. So it's a really good way to make some good money, but we don't want to pressure people. We only want people that are interested, that, enjoy doing that.
Here's a question I have.
That, selling not for everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's a question I got that came in. Is that commission paid out in MQT or AVAX or USDT?
AVAX.
Perfect. So it's not going to create additional sell pressure on the token. That's good.
Right. So it's the commission on dock slots 2 through 10, which is AVAX. And then from 11 to 18 is MoveQuest, and your referral, whoever you refer into MoveQuest when they open the 18, you get the free Vanguard. So from 11 to 18, it's the Vanguard, but from 2 to 10, it is because the first slot's free. So 2 to 10, it pays out the commission. It's $720, 2 through 10, and you get the commission on that. You do get it on each dock slot. So originally it was just going to be once the 10th slot was open, it would pay the commission, but that was problematic in the smart contract because some people that are already here in MoveQuest, they may only have 5 or 6 slots open. So what happens when they open 7, 8, 9, and 10? Well, if we say it only pays from 2 to 10 on 10, then those 4 dock slots that somebody paid to unlock, it wouldn't pay a commission. So we went ahead and went with per dock slot. So if they open up 1, you get paid. They open up 5, you get paid. They open up 10, you get paid. But it stops at 10. And then 11 through 18, you would get the Vanguard. So if you're a manager, and let's say you bring in 10,000 people and they open up dock slot 18, you just got yourself 10,000 Vanguards. You can do a whole lot with that. That's massive when you're talking, you know, leasing and digital real estate. Boosts and power ups. Okay, so they are done, but then Waleed, he always goes to the next level. Now you've got loot boxes, we've got it's crazy, okay? Um, so like for when you do certain things, engaging with the app, it's going to reward you boosts as well. So you get these loot boxes, you can buy the loot boxes, um, and then of course, all the imagery and stuff like that. So his goal is to have it done by tomorrow, but he told me to tell the community it may be 2 to 3 days because the basic boosts were done. But like I said, then he went even further with it and made it more gamified, more rewarding, so people don't have to necessarily buy them, but can earn them as well. So it kind of gives it a double facet there. So they are really done, but like I said, he's still playing a little bit. The advertising. We'll have a call on advertising. Um, that is actually going good. I think. I think it will be good what we're doing. So yes, the leasing may come sooner than later. I'll tell you why. We're getting close to the 100,000 miners in the dock slot, but we really need the community to engage more for that trigger to lock that move quest. Once that move quest locks and the price starts to go up, people are going to need to lease. They're not going to be able to afford to evolve because now the evolution takes move quest, not USDT. And that's going to go up as well. So people will get their trailblazers when they unlock the dock slots, but the dock slots for the move quest, those are going to go up. So it's going to be even more costly for people to get slots 11 through 18. This is why getting started right now is so primo for all of you here. Some people may complain because they didn't like the market value, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of perks that come with these growing pains because once this stuff locks and once that move quest continues to move up in market value, this gets very costly. When it gets costly, people need to lease. And that is what makes it affordable for people to still be able to get involved with MoveQuest and mine. It'll be harder to own these MoveQuest miners. They will become very valuable. So there's a lot of perks here as well at this stage of the game. The increased mining power, I mean, that should happen right with the boost. If it doesn't, it'll just be a day or two. He may want to test the boost and see how it affects, the power of the miners before we go and actually turn on the mining power. But all that stuff is, I mean, we're just a few days away before it's all ready to roll. Then the last thing we have to do, because the leasing is done, the last thing we have to do is challenges. And we've completed our roadmap, and then we projected it would be a 4-year roadmap, and then we'll be releasing roadmap 2.0 because we have another 4 years of fun stuff that we'll be adding to MoveQuest, like gyms being able to get set up, and they'll have the gyms are going to be an exciting thing that's coming next. I'll be introducing some different cards and things that you guys will have for marketing materials as well. They're kind of like a little credit cards, got your QR code and stuff like that. I'm working with somebody on those. So you guys will be able to download those or get them printed, or you can order them, and then they're more kind of like on a plastic credit card like thing. A lot of stuff that's coming. But yeah, the roadmap 2.0, that's going to be fun. Waleed's actually looking forward to it because that's where a lot of the gamified stuff comes in, where the infrastructure is done and built, and now it's just adding all the fun features. We've got a lot of things planned for MoveQuest. We're just getting started. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? We're just getting started. Here I was getting excited because the 4 years was almost up, but I know I got another 4 to go. Oh, Lordy. I am sleeping better, though. That's funny. All right. I think that's it. I think we got all the questions. I lost all the questions. I didn't show up, so I don't know if I missed anything.
I believe you covered the majority or the bulk of the information. You know, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here, so we're going to get them all in.
Yeah, that's one thing, people. You guys, that's one thing everybody knows. We don't disappear. We're here all the time. Yeah, we ain't running with your money.
Well, once again, we want to thank you, Miss Lynette, for coming out and showing out yet again. And we're going to wrap this up and come back and do it again maybe next week.
Yeah, this keeping up Betty. Earn MQT every stride. Build your bag, don't let it slide. Come, step by step, I'm stacking gold. Every mile a story told. Feet on fire, hearts unfold. Run it up, chase the dream. Coins and sweat, a winning team. Pain, 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 pain. Move to earn, move to live. MoveQuest shows what life can give. Earn MQT every stride. Build your bag, don't let it slide. Move to earn, move to live. MoveQuest shows what life can give. Earn MQT every stride. Build your bag, don't let it slide. Every step's a fortune chase. Huddle strong, keep up the pace. Freedom's written in this race. Huddle your coins, hold your ground. Watch the value spin around. Financial freedom feels so sweet. One more step, a new heartbeat.